At dawn, the storm hadn't stopped. Rain clawed at the cobblestone streets of Howlverse, flooding gutters and drowning lantern light in endless silver ribbons. The Howling Beans Cafe sign swung violently on its rusted chain, squealing with each gust as lightning flared across the horizon. Inside, Elias Carter rubbed sleep from his bloodshot eyes. He hadn't gone home. The cafe had become both refuge and prison since the night of the stranger's warning. The words, "The spell is coming," still burned like a curse in his mind. Every time thunder rolled, he half expected magic to tear the sky open. Then came the knock. Not a gentle tap, but desperate, frantic pounding. Elias opened the door against the gale, and there stood Mira, trembling, her fur soaked and her amber eyes wide with terror. "They're gone," she gasped, rain mixing with the tears on her face. "Elias, they're gone. All the humans, my customers, my neighbors, gone." Elias's heart went cold. He glanced past her into the storm. Empty streets, no voices, no footsteps, no scent of humanity, only the wind. He stepped out, scanning the town square. Shops stood open, chairs toppled, lamps still burning in windows, but not a single human remained. The scent of absence lingered, hollow and impossible to describe. Mira clutched his arm. "It's the spell, Elias. It's started." He didn't answer, because deep down he already knew she was right. By mid-morning, the werewolves of Howlverse had gathered at the council hall. The old building groaned under the storm's weight, its windows flickering with weak light from a dying generator. Mayor Darius McCoy stood at the head of the long oak table, fur bristled but posture firm. His claws tapped against the wood, a rhythm of command masking unease. "We'll find them," Darius said, his voice a growl of authority. "No one disappears without a trace in my town." Dr. Lyra Moon, her silver-streaked fur glistening with rain, set her notebook down with a quiet thud. "Mayor, this isn't a crime scene," she said softly, but her tone carried weight. "This is magic, powerful, ancient magic. I can feel it in the air. Our transformations haven't faded since last night." A ripple of unease passed through the room. Even those who usually held human form during daylight remained in their wolfish states, half caught between two selves. Darius growled, "You think this is connected to that storm?" Lyra nodded. "The storm isn't weather, it's a barrier. Something's sealing us in, and the humans, maybe they're not gone. Maybe they're somewhere else." Across the table, Detective Brandon Gentry adjusted his trench coat and shot a glance toward Luna, his second-in-command. "If there's a magical disturbance, we'll trace it. Lyra, point us in the right direction." Lyra's pen scratched a rune across her page, glowing faintly blue. "There's energy in the eastern woods, old, unstable. It wasn't there before dawn." Darius exhaled, steam curling in the cold air. "Fine. Brandon, Luna, you two check it out. Report back before sunset." As they turned to leave, lightning flashed outside, painting the council's faces in white fire. For a brief moment, everyone's eyes looked the same, haunted, uncertain, afraid. The forest east of Howlverse had always been ancient, its roots tangled with forgotten magic. But now it breathed differently, its rhythm pulsing like a living heart. Brandon and Luna moved silently through the rain-soaked underbrush. The air hummed with a low, thrumming vibration that set their teeth on edge. Trees swayed against no wind, and whispers slithered between branches. "Do you feel that?" Luna murmured. Her silver eyes darted across the path. "Yeah?" Brandon replied, gripping his silver-edged blade. "Feels like we're walking through a spell that's still being cast." The deeper they went, the more wrong the world became. The forest floor glowed faintly where lightning had struck, runes burned into the mud. Then came the sound, a rhythmic crackle, thunder focused in one place. They stepped into a clearing and both froze. Lightning struck the same spot again and again, illuminating a circle of floating runes carved deep into the ground. In the center hovered a shimmering portal, rippling like liquid glass, its color shifting between violet and sickly green. Luna knelt, her claws brushing a rune. "These symbols, they're from before the Lunar Pact. This magic shouldn't exist anymore." Brandon's voice dropped. "Looks like it does." Another flash. For just an instant, the portal's surface reflected faces. Not human, not wolf, but something between, mouths open in silent screams. Brandon stepped back, his fur bristling. "We need to tell Darius, now." Luna didn't move. "Wait, look at the edges. It's growing." Indeed, the runes pulsed brighter with each heartbeat, the air trembling as if the world itself resisted the intrusion. The storm above seemed to echo the rhythm, each bolt sinking with the portal's glow. They turned to leave, unaware that someone, watched them from the shadows between trees. Back in town, Elias and Mira fought to keep the cafe's generator alive. The lights flickered weakly as Elias twisted wires and Mira held a flashlight between her teeth. "If we can get the radio working," Elias said, "maybe the next town's still standing. Maybe the humans aren't gone everywhere." Mira nodded, her hands shaking slightly. "What if they are?" Elias paused, staring at the coffee machine, the same one he'd used every morning, now silent and useless. "Then we find a way to bring them back." A burst of static made both of them jump. The radio crackled, whined, and for a brief moment, cleared. A distorted voice whispered through the interference. "Not just Howlverse. The vanishing has begun, everywhere." Then the signal died. Mira froze. "Elias? Did it say everywhere?" He met her eyes, heart pounding. "We have to warn them." They bolted into the storm, racing through flooded streets toward the woods, lightning chasing their footsteps. Every shadow seemed to move. Every echo whispered their names. Behind them, the cafe sign creaked one last time, then snapped off its chain, crashing into the flood. The woods were alive with energy. Runes pulsed beneath the rain as the portal's light grew stronger, casting green and violet ripples across the trees. The council had regrouped at the clearing. Darius, Lyra, Brandon, Luna, and now Elias and Mira, soaked and breathless. Elias stared at the portal, his fur rising. "This is it. This is what the stranger warned me about." Lyra stepped forward, notebook in hand, runes glowing on its pages. "If we can decode these symbols, maybe we can reverse it. It could be the only way to bring the humans back." Brandon's hand rested on his blade. "Or it could open the door wider. We don't know what's on the other side." Darius growled low. "We destroy it before it destroys us." Lightning crackled overhead, thunder booming close enough to shake the ground. The air itself thickened, electric and heavy. "Wait!" Lyra shouted, voice cutting through the chaos. "If we destroy it, we could trap them, wherever they are." The mayor's claws clenched, "And if we don't, we might bring something worse through." The argument dissolved into shouts, until suddenly the wind stopped. The storm paused in one unnatural heartbeat. Every raindrop hung in midair, suspended. The forest went silent, utterly still. Then came the sound. Hooves. Distant, slow, metallic, each strike echoing through the earth. The kind of sound that didn't belong to flesh and blood, but to something forged in nightmare. Luna's fur rose. "Something's coming through," she whispered. Brandon's grip tightened. "Get ready." The portal's glow shifted, deepening from violet to sickly green. The runes burned white hot, the ground shaking violently as if rejecting what emerged. Out of the swirling light came a shape, massive, cloaked, and mounted on a shadow of a horse. The rider's armor gleamed dully in the stormlight, etched with runes that pulsed in rhythm with the lightning. But there was no head. Only a void, blacker than the night where its face should have been. A gust of wind tore through the clearing as the headless horseman raised a blade that hummed with spectral energy. The runes around the circle flared, scattering sparks of green fire into the rain. Elias's eyes widened in horror and awe. This was the spell. The creature's unseen gaze turned toward him, as if it recognized the one who'd been warned first. The portal roared open wider, wind howling, trees bending to breaking. Lightning struck the glade once more, blinding white light swallowing everything. And then,